Welcome to Tech Updates. This is issue number 9. Going to talk over some quick changes real quick. So I'm taking off the weekly date on it. So I don't always know if I'll be publishing this every Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I try to put it out and cover what I've been learning and working on over the last week, but I don't think the date is necessarily relevant, as is the, hey, this is issue number 9, number 10, number 15, whatever. And here's what we're doing lately. And you'll see the date when it was published anyways on every platform. So not necessarily relevant to put into the actual newsletter. So I've changed the graphic art for the top. I've had AI generate a couple versions of this. I kind of like this. I'm not fully set on it, but it's a work in progress and iteration. So let me know if you think it's cool or not. And I'm changing the tagline for tech updates. So this newsletter is going to be a deep dive into the tools and AI workflows that shape the digital frontier. I'm sharing my process of building and exploring publicly in the open so we can navigate the future of this together. So I think all of this stuff is very exciting, and I like learning and networking and building and growing. And I think there's value in doing that publicly as you move forward in tech stuff. So on to the updates. All right, so what I've been working on this last week, I've been reading up and learning about Minimax. I got the API key set up into my Lite LLM. I just didn't add any money on it because their minimum was $25, and I only wanted to throw like $5 on it. So we'll get around to playing with that eventually soon, but it looks like a cool model that you can use that is a lot cheaper than like Opus 4.6. Google pushed out a new, I don't know if it's protocol or some new stuff about adding MCP tools into the browser. And this may be a very cool futuristic thing where every website has coded into it what it can and can't do via MCP, so that when AI agents are crawling, interacting with websites on your behalf in the future, very soon likely, that you'll be able to interact very easily with these websites. And so it looks like this is coming down the pipeline, and it might be a very interesting tech to come out. Another cool project I came across was Database MCP Toolbox, which was another one from Google. But basically it was for companies to be able to pull in big data sets from all of your different tools, like your SaaS platforms, your Salesforce, your databases, your CRM, your Jira, whatever. And then your AI would have better context for business workflows and be able to do things versus just looking at one individual platform or tool type thing. And so it sounds kind of neat and could be very interesting. I'm also starting to play with PicoClaw. I got that installed in a VM, which is just a smaller version of OpenClaw, and it has some more security stuff built in. So I got that set up and working. I'll talk more about it later. So other things that are on my list to do, I'm planning to migrate my websites to Hugo and a CDN, probably Cloudflare, coming up sometime soon. And I've already got some cool graphic art made up for that. It's just a project I haven't got to yet. I've also got a VM set up for IronClaw, which is just another variation of OpenClaw. With that, I think that one's more security based. The PicoClaw is a smaller version one that can run on smaller hardware. And then I'll probably set an OpenClaw one up too as well. So just learning all these new cool tools that are coming out and playing with them. I came across this AI Sec Hub post that says that they rated all of the different AI models on various security protocols and how they fared doing checking and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of interesting. I want to go back and finish reading up on that. And so that's something to look up at in the future. Commands to remember, nothing super obvious this week that I can remember. Improvements. So we did a lot this week. I fixed my Cloudflare routing. I was trying to tunnel multiple different sites and applications over one tunnel, and I just kept running into some DNS errors and cookies, and so I just ended up making 2 tunnels, and that worked a lot better. I got the art skill up and running in Pi, and it uses APIs that talk to Nano Banana, and another one or two. And so here's just some examples of some art that I had it generate. I thought this one was pretty cool looking. I kind of used that as a template for the header version for this. This is for a blog post. I also cleaned up some of my Notion documentation on my home lab. I had home lab diagrams generated with my art skill. I'll make a sanitized version of that and show you guys sometime. I created a video on automated updates for DaVinci Resolve on Arch Linux. If you ever use DaVinci Resolve, which is great video editing software, on Arch Linux it's kind of a pain to update because they can't pull the package directly from upstream into the AUR, so you have to go download it manually and change your package build and your SHA hashes and then run the make package, and it's just kind of a pain. And so I wrote a script that automates it, and I put it on GitHub, and now I have a walkthrough video on YouTube that shows how to do that. So anyone out there in the Arch Linux community that uses DaVinci Resolve, hope you like it, enjoy. Let me know if we need to iterate it or make it better, but it's out there, and I just used it, and it's really cool. All right, I upgraded Pi to 2.5 from 2.3, and then some of the things we did with that was change the voice server from 11 Labs to Qwen 3, which is local and uses my GPU. Doesn't have as many voices, but it's free, and so we'll keep iterating that. We fixed our status line stuff. We migrated a bunch of our Git repos back in, and then about last night I had to do this all again to upgrade from Pi 2.5 to 3.0 because another new version came out. And so I'm working to I have a markdown document of all the stuff that's important and personalized to me inside of Pi, and then when I install a new version, say, hey, go look at this document and pull in anything that didn't get migrated or that needs to be personalized in 3.0 or future. And that worked pretty well. I also wrote a Pi skill for when I'm using Pi remotely over SSH, that sometimes I need to grab a file and I can have it dump it to me over via Nextcloud. And I can grab that wherever I'm at. So that's kind of handy. I also put that out on GitHub when somebody asked for it. Upgraded the algorithm in Pi, and then I upgraded it again when the new version 3.0 came out. I made a video for installing Pi 2.5 on Arch Linux, which is just a walkthrough of how to do it and some of those changes. There's some other cool videos out there that are doing this for like Linux in general. I just thought I'd put one out for Arch Linux. I updated the local models in my Ollama, updated Ollama as well. And so now I've got Qwen and Gemma 3, 12 billion, 14 billion, and these will all kind of run pretty well in my 3060, which has 12 gigabytes of video RAM. I got PicoClaw installed in a VM, and it's pointed to Ollama for the local LLM brain instead of like tied into an OpenAI API or my Anthropic API. So that way I can save money and still play with some of these new tools. It's a little slower, but it still works. I said I updated Pi to 3.0. And then I also, with the new version of Ollama, you can launch Claude or Codex and specify a local model versus using your paid accounts or APIs. So I thought that was pretty cool. And here's a screenshot from their website of like an example. You can launch Claude Code, Codex, OpenCode, OpenClaw, etc. And here's me doing it right here on mine. And this is Claude Code running with the Qwen model for a brain. So it works. It's a little slower. It's only got 14 billion parameters versus however many trillion that Opus has and cloud VPUs to use all its processing. But it still works, and so that's cool. So that's what I've been building and exploring in this last week or so. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in the next one.